Okay. All right. Well, again, good morning, everyone. We want to just thank you for coming on a Sunday morning for this training for Frame, which is the new platform for the North American Division schools and churches um, for our website, our digital presence. And so I'm going to begin with a word of prayer. After we do that, Anthony, I just have a couple questions just to set up the day so people could kind of get to know you and know a little bit more about Frame. And then we'll allow you to go into your training for us today. And then we will close with any questions and answers that you may have for Anthony. So that's what our day is going to be like today. So let's begin with a word of prayer. Dear God, we just want to thank you so much for allowing us to see another day of life. We thank you, Lord, for what we experienced yesterday and the beauty of the Sabbath, to be able to just honor you with suspending all of life to rest in you. And Lord, we just pray that you would be with us now as we have the opportunity to learn together and grow together as a conference and to be able to just learn how to better use technology to spread the gospel for your name's honor and glory. We pray, dear God, that you would just also be with those who are on their way. We pray that everyone would be able to get into this training uh, without problem. And we pray that you would bless our time together. In Christ's name and for his sake, we pray. Amen. All right, all right. I see a couple more people have joined us during our prayer. And so, um, what I want to do is just to first find out who's here. I see one of our pastors who's here, Pastor Norris Castillo. We want to welcome you here. And find out who else is here. Just unmute yourself. Tell us where you're from, real quick. We would appreciate that. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Rosalind Williams, and I am calling in from Bethel Church in Kansas City, Kansas.
Awesome, awesome. We welcome you, and Bethel is in the house. All right. Go ahead, anyone.
My name is Gloria Dove from Beacon Light in Kansas City.
Beacon Light. All right, awesome. Kansas City. All right. Anyone else?
Good morning. This is Toya Allaby from Lincoln, Nebraska at Allen Chapel Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Island Chapel, Nebraska. All right, awesome.
Hello, my name is Manel. I'm with Omaha Sharon Seventh Baptist Church.
Okay. Welcome. Welcome. Omaha, Nebraska. We got Nebraska in the house.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Um, yeah, this is Ivan Wantate
Okay.
from Zukukemuake at the online church.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Online virtual church. All right. All right. Anyone else? I think I see United Central, who's with us. May have stepped away for a moment. All right. So, what I would like to do is just to begin by introducing you all to Anthony. Anthony White. He is from Adventist Connect. And Anthony, can you just kind of give us a story? I'm gonna pin you so you become central here, but just how you ended up getting to Adventist Connect. What's your journey? What's the story?
Yeah, great question. Grew up in the church. I am a double PK, so both my parents are pastors. So yeah, interesting life journey growing up as a not only a PK but a double PK. And grew up in the Pacific Northwest. Is my video really choppy, or is it?
No, your video
Okay,
looks good to me.
okay, it's a little choppy for me, so I wasn't sure if I want to make sure. So yeah, grew up in the Pacific Northwest, so in the state of Washington, for the first 10 years of my life. And then I moved to the South. My parents took a pastoral calling to Northwest Georgia. So I was in Georgia for my high school years and a little bit more. And I decided to go back to the Pacific Northwest, and I went back to Walla Walla University. And that's where I got my undergraduate degree. And kind of been all over kind of a little bit since then. I was in Southern California for a little bit, and then in Washington and different locations. And then prior to joining Adventist Connect, I joined about 2 years ago now. And prior to that, I was at the North Pacific Union, so the union office located in just outside of Portland, Oregon. And I worked in the communication department there for 9 years, doing the magazine and digital online stuff in communications there for the union for 9 years. And then my current boss contacted me and said, hey, would you be interested in coming over to Walla Walla? It's about 4 hours away from Portland, and setting up an office for us on the campus of Walla Walla. And a little bit of history. Adventist Connect formally, I don't know how much more questions you want. I mean, I can start going into my like kind of deal and talk about us if that's what you want, or.
Yeah, I think it's good for people to kind of understand the history.
Sure.
So yeah, if you could just, give us a history of what has happened and how we've got to this place, I think that would be helpful.
Sure. Yeah. So Adventist Connect has been around for a long time, about 43 plus years. And it was previously known as Adventist Information Ministry. So if you kind of went through the seminary, you might have heard about Adventist Information Ministry. It started on the campus of Andrews University back in '82, I want to say, somewhere around there. And it basically was created as the evangelism contact center for the North American division. You had all of these various media ministries, whether it was Faith for Today, Breath of Life, It Is Written, Voice of Prophecy. They all had programs that they were doing and putting out into the public. And the public was contacting and wanting to know more, right? So the division needed a centralized place that there could be pastoral support and care and asking of these questions that people have about faith and life and everything like that. So that's where Adventist Information Ministry was created. It's created on the campus of Andrews University, and it is a ministry of the North American Division. So we are we're not a department of the North American Division, but we're a ministry of the North American Division. So somewhere around there with Advent Source and Pacific Press and all those other people. So about a year ago now, we changed our name from Adventist Information Ministry to Adventist Connect. And that kind of goes into kind of the digital shift that we've been doing. We're all about connecting people to the local community and local church. And while phone is still a very important part of the ministry that we provide, not only for all of the media ministries and more, we're doing a lot more in the digital space, which I'll talk about a little bit more here. But we decided that Adventist Information Ministry kind of had an old time feeling to it. It kind of invoked different feelings from what we were actually doing today. So we changed our name, and that kind of corresponded to also the website platform that we were taking on from the division. So I'll talk a little bit about that here as I get in, but that's a little bit of the history about me, my journey, and about Adventist Connect. And to kind of wrap that up a little bit, so they decided that they wanted to expand and not just be on the campus of Andrews University, but kind of start having a campus on the West Coast as well, a branch where they could bring in students. And so that's part of my job is I I hire students and I oversee students here on the campus of Walla Walla University, and train students, and students work for us providing ministry. So it's really about growth and development for young leaders coming up in the church, and trying to make sure that they're still connected with the church, and that they have tools and resources that once they leave here, they can still continue to make an impact in their local community wherever they move to afterwards. So that's partly what I do, as well as I hire and oversee students that work for us, providing ministry care for all sorts of different other ministries as well across the division. So that's just a little bit about me. So today we're going to primarily be talking about Frame. It's the website platform for the North American division. It's been around for quite a while, and I'll kind of get to the history of it here in a moment. But before I do, I just kind of want to acknowledge that if you've been on the previous platform, Adventist Church Connect, Adventist School Connect, for a while, we know that like this transition might have been hard. It's a kind of a difficult transition, learning a new platform and moving over to it. And, we just want to acknowledge that is might have been a difficult transition. But we're really excited about the future, about what it is. Our job, what we see is our job is the machine to be able to provide the hosting and everything like that. And your job is to provide the message to your community and spread the gospel. So just some quick things here that I want to share that I feel are really interesting and important for us to know as we think about digital ministry in the digital age, and the impact that it can have. So your church office closes, right? Your office isn't open 24/7, right? But your website is open 24/7. So that's really important. We feel that's really important to think about that, your office, as a pastor, you're coming and going, or, you have worship at certain times, a Wednesday night service, or, your Sabbath service or whatever. But during those other times, your church is closed, but your website is always open. 80% of people will check your website before visiting in person. Maybe they Googled your church, maybe they stumbled across it some other way. But either way, you are building, as you are building your site, consider first-time visitors as you're setting up your website. The best church designs will always make navigation easier, and you always want to keep that in mind as people are visiting your online church door first before they ever step inside your physical front door. So what does this mean for pastors and website individuals, for churches? What are the first-time visitors looking for? How can you make them feel welcomed and entice them to visit in person? What do you want them to know about your church, right? Is all you want them to know that, I don't know, that your bulletin is right there on the front page? Is that what you really want them to know? Or are you wanting them to know something more? 60% of traffic comes from mobile devices. So most percent, this is across the web, all traffic across the web. 60% of all traffic comes from mobile devices. So people are, obviously using mobile. We almost all have a mobile phone in our hands or our pockets. And we need our websites to be adaptive, to that, and have the information also easily displayed there. People are how likely are people going to just scroll through to find information on your page? So think about that as you're setting up your website. So what does this mean? Ensure your website is responsive. It looks good on mobile. Ensure links and buttons are easy to tap on. And then here, 75% of visitors will make a judgment about your church's credibility based on the website alone. So we have the other stat that 80% are visiting your website before they even step into the front door on your church property, right? But 75% of those people are making a judgment about your church's credibility based on the website alone. This is a really sobering statistic, that a well-designed website with great information that talks about who your church really is, conveys a lot of trust and credibility, and really to encourage potential visitors to know more. So this means make information easy to find. You will lose people quickly if they can't find what they want to know on the website. Remove outdated content, so prevent your site from feeling cluttered. Any content that is no longer relevant should be taken down. And ensure your website is visually appealing, so build your website with a template that's easy to use and professional. 61% of visitors leave your website within 5 seconds if they can't find what they're looking for. This stat kind of underscores the importance of a clear and user-friendly design with information that's really quickly to look at a glance. So how can you improve your website with this in mind? Display worship times, your address, and link to directions really prominently. Include a warm and inviting message for newcomers or regular attendees. Use buttons like plan your visit, attend online, or get involved to guide visitors to key actions. And feature important ministries like kids programs, small groups, upcoming events. Kind of feature those prominently on the website. And make your contact information prominent and accessible. 88% of pages with video get more engagement. So if your page has video on it, you're likely to get more engagement on it. So that's a lot more engagement. So consider including a video on your church's homepage. It's a powerful way to connect with your visitors and kind of get them to view more. So start with a welcoming message on your homepage, maybe from the pastor. It will kind of give a first impression about who your church is. And then, a short video can showcase what people can expect about your church, the worship style, the community events, kids programs, other things like that. 65% of the top 5 Google search results receive more than 65% of the clicks. So top 5, when you Google something, your church's name, those top 5 ones that are in the search results, they get 65% of the clicks. Most people, less than half are not continuing to scroll down. So if your church isn't ranking within the top 5 websites on search engine result pages, you're likely not going to be found as much by people looking for your church. So consider ways. I'll give some tips here on how you can do that. Another thing too is that I'll probably mention a little bit later is that our website platform kind of takes this into consideration and kind of helps rank some of that. So use local keywords to help boost your ranking in the search results. Include terms like church near city or family-friendly church in Kansas City in your content, right? Create quality content. Regularly update your site with blogs, sermons, events, and use relevant keywords. Another key thing is claim and create your business profile in Google. So whether that's Google Maps or whatever, oftentimes there's a little card when you search for something and it kind of relates there. Claim that and kind of ensure that is connected and all the contact information is correct there on that. So now getting to kind of this transition about what we've done. So for the past almost 20 years now, the North American Division back in 2005, 2006, I believe it was, decided that every single church should have a website at no charge. And so that was created, and then a couple years later, schools were added to that as well. And it's been going through various iterations and chapters of its life and season for the past, nearly 20 years. Then a couple years ago, about 2 years ago now, a little bit more actually than 2 years ago now, there was a need to kind of shift what was being offered. And there was a lot of evaluation that kind of went into what that would look like, whether it was improving on the old system, which was starting to show, some of its time, or kind of move into something more modern that was more flexible and adaptable. And so the division decided to move into a new direction, and that's where Adventist Church Connect and Adventist School Connect has now moved into Frame. Previously, Adventist Church Connect and Adventist School Connect was managed by AdventSource, and AdventSource kind of helped manage all of that. Through this kind of transition, it has come over to us, Adventist Connect, formerly Adventist Information Ministry, and we are now managing it on behalf of the division. So Frame is a mobile-first tool, and with many publishing tools, and it creates really a professional experience. It's ministry focused specifically for churches and schools. We just last week we just completed the final migration of all of the church and school websites on the old platform. In total, we migrated 3,340 websites from the old platform to the new platform. And so we're really excited about the next chapter, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. We know that there's a lot of room to growth, and we're excited about that. So I kind of want to quickly show some screenshots and kind of show what's similar, what's different. So as you probably saw this, if you were on Adventist Church Connect or Adventist School Connect before, when you logged in, this is kind of what you saw. You kind of saw a dashboard here. You had kind of a sidebar here of your different action items or content regions that you could get to, and then you had, your website displayed there as well, and a top bar across there. So a little bit different, but also kind of really similar with the new platform. So the new platform is based off of WordPress. And so if you're familiar with WordPress, this will be familiar for you. If not, that's okay. There's still an admin, a left-hand sidebar there, and a toolbar across the top. But when you first log in, you log in here to the dashboard. And I can go over a little bit more of this a little bit later here. But I'm going to talk a little bit about, I'm going to focus on kind of the main advanced sites that we offer, what was previously known as 3.0 sites under Adventist Church Connect, Adventist School Connect. We actually offer two different versions of websites. So the advanced sites are these full content management systems. So it's a full CMS, and they have rich selection of dynamic templates that you can choose from. We currently have, I think it's 4 or 5 templates right now, but our goal is to be releasing 1 to 2 new templates every single year. And so that are fresh and modern, and it kind of hopefully would fit, if one doesn't fit your current, church's culture, maybe a new one will kind of help that as well. So we offer advanced sites. These are the full content management systems. They're based off of WordPress. WordPress runs, I think about 43% of the global websites are on WordPress. So it's a really robust platform, really rich, dynamic platform. There's a lot of resources kind of with that as well. There's a lot of design tools really easily at your fingertips. You can really kind of change things up really quickly on the design within WordPress. You can build things really easily, move things around, change how you want it to look really easily, replace media quite easily. And then it's all built around blocks. So everything is basically kind of a block that you're just kind of moving around, and you can kind of choose how you want to style that. So you could put a block in and say, I want to change it to a different style. And then there's a lot of different patterns. So you can have different patterns that are easily And some of this gets more advanced as you get on, but you don't have to do that. But it's a very dynamic platform. Part of, if you're familiar with WordPress, a lot of people will extend WordPress with plugins. And so we are licensing some plugins across our whole entire network of platforms, of sites. And so some of these are paid by us that we're licensing for everyone, and other of these are free. These are just a few to name and list here. So there's podcasting built into it. There's really rich and dynamic forms. So you can create kind of really complex conditionals. So say you're filling out a contact form and you ask a question, how do you want to be contacted? Do you want to be contacted with social media or email or phone number? And based off of what they respond with, you can then display whatever appropriate field you want. So if they say email, you can then display an email field, and it wouldn't be visible before. So that's just like one example, but you can create really complex conditional logicking for forms if you want. We're also using a really robust calendar plugin that will display all of your calendars. You can manage a calendar there. Additionally, you can bring in other calendars. So say you use Google Calendar for your church, and say for the school they use Outlook or something like that calendar. You can have those be shared, and you can import all of those events into your website, and you can categorize them out. So say you want to list all of your church events there, you can have all of your church events, and say youth has their own calendar, you could import all of those, and all of those would be labeled youth. So someone could quickly see those, or they could see all the other events, and then they could see all the school events by importing that, and it would be categorized out and listed. So all of that would be easily accessible all in one calendar event on your website. So just kind of show you a little bit of what's possible. This is kind of one church that they kind of took the base a little bit more, the base theme, and they added to it. And so they have a video that displays here on their front page, and it kind of, again, kind of shows the life and culture of a church that someone would immediately see when they first go to this this website. There's a button, a call to action button in here. So, quick, let's connect. That would take you to a page to whatever that call to action they want. So, they have quick information here, more than a church, that a worldwide family of faith and service. They have their worship times, their small group times. What should I wear? So people know who are new, what to expect there. Then they have our 3 core ministries that they have. So that's just like a quick example of what someone has done. This is on our website platform. So some people may be asking, why did the North American Division build their own website platform? Why didn't they go to something else? Why didn't they go to like Squarespace or Wix and do something like that? And what really makes Frame stand apart? Unlike a commercial content management system, Frame is fundamentally mission-driven. So it's a mission-driven initiative sponsored by the North American Division. There's no cost to any Adventist ministry, any official Adventist ministry within the North American Division. So every single church, every single school gets a website at no cost. Conferences are included at that. Unions are included in that. Additionally, we are expanding even more with Frame to summer camps. So a summer camp could be on our platform, or Adventist Community Service. So if you have an Adventist Community Service center and you want a website, you don't have one, for your food pantry or something like that, you can contact us, and you can have a website that really kind of helps people who are searching for you, find you online. Additionally, as well, there's a centralized compliance to it where we handle all of the updates. You don't have to worry about any of that. All of the updates are handled. Any branding that is connected to the Adventist Church, all of the security, and all of the continuity as well. Often that's a problem, is that life brings us changes, right? And whether that's a pastor moving, or a member that's moving, that's a volunteer, that's assisting with the website, there's constantly flow. And so having a centralized system allows support to be able to quickly add new people. So if there's a new pastor, and the pastor says, hey, I don't have the login information to my website, just call us up at support, and we're able to quickly get a pastor into the website, or ensure that the new person who is voted by the nominating committee and the board, the church and business session for, the next officers, church officer roles, say the new webmaster was voted and they need access to the website. Well, we can quickly get them access to the website. So having it kind of our own system kind of helps with all of that as well. There's integrated data flows and connections to other Adventist systems. So eAdventist, Adventist Giving, the online tithe and offering. And there's more as well. So we're going to be connecting with some of the school systems as well. AE Connect is one that's coming out, and possibly Adventist School Pay. And then there's some more as well. There's a platform that we're releasing this year. The division is releasing this year, called Thrive, and it's an interest management platform to help you really grow, develop, and disciple people in your community, and ensure that no one falls through the cracks of that discipleship journey. So that, again, is at no cost as well, and there will be integration in with the website Frame platform as well. We're continually developing and creating improvements and enhancements that are purpose-built for ministry, whereas another solution, you're not going to get that. So those are just some of the key things that makes us stand apart from some other platform. I'm going to quickly take some time here. Let me just take some time here to quickly show a demo, and then we'll kind of get into some other tips and then some questions and answers here. So I'm going to switch my screen sharing. Gotta remember how to do that. Here. All right. So if you're familiar with WordPress, or if you're already on our platform, when you first log in, this is likely what you'll see here. And when you log in, you're greeted here with the dashboard. There's some quick action items here. I'll just kind of go a quick overview of kind of the platform. You can quickly get started with some different items here. And then kind of the key things I want to point out to you here is we have here this chat with us or need help. Both of these kind of trigger the same thing. But they open up this, and this is a little agent here that will kind of help you through different questions that you may have. We also have this self-service knowledge center as well, so you can come over here and you can find content here. You can search for answers, and so here's navigating your dashboard. I can come over here and there's a video here that I will mute, but there's a video that you can follow along with how to navigate, or if you don't want to watch it, you can quickly read it along here and see screenshots. So we have a rich self-service knowledge base of guides and tutorials that you can find here in the knowledge base. You can also ask questions as well. So you could ask a question like, how do I add a bulletin? That's an often asked questions. And so to add a bulletin to your site, you'll add it as a PDF using the file block. Add to the current bulletin. So, open or create a page. It just walks you through all of the steps on what to do. And then it links, if you have other questions, it links out to the sources here. So there's a page here, create a bulletin page. And so we could come over here and, hey, there's a video. So you could watch that video if you don't want to read along and you have questions there. So you can ask it other questions. Additionally, the Help Center is also located here. So you could search here for that as well, bulletin. So you could see them here and watch the videos and follow along here as well. So this is going to be a really awesome tool for you that I would encourage you to heavily utilize. We also have additional support options as well. So up here in the top next to your name, you can quickly get to the knowledge base again here. You can open up that digital assistant here if you want to. If you have more questions, we do have a phone number, so you can click that and you can come over here and you can call us here, and here's our office hours. So we're happy to help. We have support that we're here to help. You can also email support directly. If I were to click this, it would just open my local email client. Since I'm not sharing my whole screen, you won't see that. So, so those are some quick things I want to point out here. So quickly diving in, most of you will be going to Pages. So Pages is where you manage your pages and you set up your pages and everything. And I will close these different things here, and I'm going to view my website here in a new window tab. You have your menu up here. This is your primary menu. So you have weekly bulletins. We have actually this is a demo page. That's why you'll see things a little bit different, and kind of it's used for a lot of different demos. So, so you have your pages here, and then if you have additional items, pages, they're in this little hamburger menu here. So if you want, we had weekly bulletin and bulletins both at the top. Say I don't want that, and I want that About Us page to be the first one there. So you just come over here, and as you put your mouse over this page, you see that kind of it changes to a darker gray, and you have these three little lines, and the cursor on your mouse changes. Well, I can just grab this, click on this, and I can just move this up above the weekly bulletin. And if I come back over here and I refresh my page, now you can see About Us is moved up. So it's really easy to quickly change your menu and move things around. Let's say that I wanted to make this media page here actually be a page under About Us. Well, I can just grab this and move it up here, and then if I move it to the right a little bit, you'll see that a dark blue kind of shows up there. That means that I'm going to indent it, and now you see this little caret here, and I now have placed media under About Us. So I can come back over here, and you now see that media is now listed below. So I can quickly move that back, and now it's moved back to there. So it's really kind of quickly easy to move pages around. To actually edit a page, so we'll take the home page here first. If you're viewing the home page here, you can click this edit page at the very top. Or if you're here in the back end in Pages, you just click anywhere here and you can open this up. So a couple quick things here that I'll show you. It may open like this, so you see all of your content. One distinction that's different from the old platform is that you're not going to see the whole template design around while you are doing that. That's just kind of one of the distinct differences. It's kind of homed in and focused, so you're just focused on the content when you're editing. A few things I want to point out. Up here, you can add different items really quickly or search for them. You can get back out to the pages from this right here. And then you have undo. So while you're editing this page before you're saving and everything, you can go forwards and backwards in your edits. A couple thing here is this document overview. I tend to recommend that everyone edits their page with this because it allows you really quickly to see what content you are clicking on. So if I'm clicking on this image, I can quickly see, what I am actually clicking on and what I'm editing here. The other thing as well is this settings sidebar over here. So you have page specific settings here in this tab here. So this shows you the link for the page. This shows you when it was published, the status of it, whether it's published or private, or you can schedule it. You can change and replace this. And then you can change other aspects and settings here. Now, if you wanted to change block specific items, so this here, I can come over here to block and I could change the information here to whatever I wanted. I can change the editing settings for this specific block. So there's a lot of different rich settings. You don't have to do them and use them, but the settings are there for people if they want. So those are a quick couple things here. So let's just say we want to add some content here. Let's just say right in this section that I wanted to add something between the calendar highlights here and this testimonial. Well, there's a couple different ways we can do that. If the way that this has been set up is it was set up in groups, so people grouped different sections together. That's just how they did it. It doesn't have to be done that way. But as you can see, I can hover over this here and I can add a block in here, or you can click in here and you can see you can add a block there. Since this one's a little bit different, I'm actually going to click here at calendar highlights and I'm going to hit enter, and then I have this new block space here. I actually don't want to add it there. This one's just a little bit different, so I can also drag and drop over here and move blocks out. So I'm just going to move it out so it's between these two sections here, and I am just going to start typing in some text. So I'm going to say find out where and when we worship. Need us to pray for you. So I can just put in that text right there, and you know what, I want to change it. I want the text bigger. So I can click this here, and I'm actually gonna, instead of making it a paragraph, I'm gonna make it a heading. So I'm gonna make it a heading. We'll leave it a heading 2 is fine. We can change the width of it if we want. I'm gonna make it centered here. And then on this, I'm actually gonna say, you know what, I want some space. It's too close. So I want some space. So I can give it here some, padding here, and I can just increase some of my padding here for that if I want to. And then, you know what, I'm gonna hit enter here because I want them to click on something here. So I'm going to add here, I'm gonna search for button. So I'm gonna search for button here, and then yeah, let's say contact us. Let's say that, and then let's link this, and let's start searching for a page. So we'll search for contact us, see if there's a contact us page here. There it is. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna, let's see, not center that there. I'm gonna need to center this. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm actually going to do kind of like what they did here, and over here I'm going to select these two elements and I'm going to group them here. So I've created a group, and I'm actually going to go back to this one, and I'm going to change my padding here, and I'm going to actually add my padding here to this not padding, I'm going to add my margins here to this, and then I am going to change this here. I clicked on this button here and I said I wanted to center justify the item, and then over here I'm going to change my background on this group now that I added it, and I'm going to just give it maybe a background like this. but I want to, I'm sorry, I wanted to increase this and do this down. So we've done that there, and then I can preview. So I just click this little laptop icon here, and it can say show preview. It's going to generate the preview for me. And so then now I've done this. Now if I wanted to give it a little bit more spacing, I can come back here and I can give it some margin spacing as well to ensure that I have some of that. But you can quickly do something like that and find out where we are. If you want to add some border to it, you can increase the radius on the border and kind of make it curved if you want really quickly. So you can do things like that. So it's really easy to quickly go in and add and edit some content, make things dynamic, make things stand out. There's a lot of different styles and cards. This is a kind of a collage here. You have things that you can kind of switch up here with quotes and other things like that. So one other thing I'm going to show you here quickly is how to switch out the template. So we have this template here, and say we wanted to switch it out. So I'm going to go back here, and then over here in appearance and themes, you have your themes here, and you can quickly see your different themes that are available. Right now there's only 4 here. If this was a school, schools have 1 additional theme. So if I want to switch the theme out here, I can click activate, and now I've switched the theme over, and so now I have this theme here. And you see it changed this color. I don't know why it changed to bright pink. We'd have to see, but it matches up. Again, this is a demo site, so I'm guessing someone overrode something and changed the theme color for this one. But it's supposed to match the theme color based off of that. So, and you can quickly, I don't want to get into those details right now, but you can change a lot of the different stuff. Like say you wanted to, I guess I can show that really quickly. Say you wanted to change the color of this theme. You didn't like the purple and you wanted a different color. You can come in here into the editor, you can click styles, and you have colors here, and you can edit the color template pattern. And so yeah, there's this pink accent color too. We could choose a different one. So we could choose this one here. And these are preset ones that you could do. So we can click on that. You could also add your own custom colors. And so then we will come back here and we'll see what it looks like. And yeah. So then I changed it to the blue there. So yeah. Some other quick things that I will show as well here. I know my time is getting short here, so let me just show one additional things. Say you have a page here, and I'm trying to find it here on this demo. There's a leadership page. So say you have a page here and you want to list out your pastors or your other, elders or your deacons and other stuff like that. You can quickly and really easily do this. So we have, if I were to edit this page here, I'll show this. We have down here, these items are being fed in here through what's known as a directory. So this is just pulling it in automatically. And as you have changes to leadership or whatever, you can quickly change these. So over here on the left-hand side is a directory item. And so you have your directory here of individuals. And let's just say I add a new person. And let's just say there's a new pastor and her name is Naomi. Let's say Brooks. And I'm going to, I already uploaded the photo of her. And so we'll add her photo here. And actually I'm going to do one additional thing. I'm going to show you here. Over here, you can set the focus point of the image. So I want to set it here, and I'm going to say focus there when you crop, and I can set that. And then I'm going to add her position as she is in the pastor category, and her position is associate pastor. I'm just going to publish that really quickly. And then I'll click on this just to get there really quickly. You can add other information, so I could put a whole bio about her there if I want to. I'll come back over here to the leadership page here. And now if I come down here, you can see she now shows up there. I can change the order of this. And so she wouldn't be there, and I could have the lead pastor there. But just a quick example of how you can quickly add people and have them show up, and then have information there. So yeah, I could keep going on the demo, but obviously, time is short. So let me just share a few more things here, and then we can get into questions and answers a little bit more. Just some quick tips here. Don't include a wall of text. Don't paste like 3 pages of text, and use headings to kind of break up different content. Images, don't use blurry images. One thing that I did not share in here is in my demo, maybe I show that really quickly here. We have a plugin that we're using where you can really quickly, I'll just add a new post, for example. You can really quickly find images to represent, quickly find images that are royalty free. So if you want to set an image, anywhere that you go to add an image, up here at the top you'll see instant images. This is a plugin we use. And you can use these different existing, Pexels, Pixabay, Openverse, or Unsplash, and you can quickly find an image that you want, to use. So let's just say I type in ocean here, and I can quickly find different ocean images. And all I have to do is just click on it, and then it will download it, and it'll insert or set that image where you want. So there it is, it's set, it's downloaded, it's in my media library, it's set here, and then now it would be this featured image for this post, and it's not going to allow me to do that unless I put in some text there, preview it. Don't use blurry images. That we have tools here to help you really find great content and images to help make your website, really visually appealing. 7-second rule. Again, users decide in 7 seconds, 5 to 7 seconds if they're staying, so keep important information at the top. So what's ahead for the platform this year and into the future? We're going to really prioritize the enhancements for the platform, really looking to improve on what is there, and then we're going to improve kind of default content and patterns. And forms as well, to really kind of give you a better starting point. Right now, there's not a great starting point. We were so focused on kind of getting everyone over that when we don't have a great pattern of starting points. And that's one thing we can do with the new system is we can kind of put, as soon as you create a page, we can kind of put content right in front of you that kind of you can say, oh, I like this selection of elements here. I want to put that on my page, and oh, I want to do this one here. And so you can quickly add different things, and you could have a leadership page that is kind of pre-built or options of leadership pages that you can kind of choose from. So that's kind of improvements there on those patterns and whatnot. Enhanced tie-ins with other church services. Again, I said Thrive is the interest management system, eAdventist, Adventist Giving, Advent Source, and AE Connect for schools. And then doing new themes each year and a lot more. So the other thing here, again, I want to mention, you're not alone in this journey. We are here to help. We have a rich team of support professionals to help you out. You can always hit up the AI chat agent, just to let you know it's not just ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini or something like that, the AI agent pulls directly from our knowledge base. So it's pulling from source truth information, that it's not just going to generate random answers for you. So you'll be able to quickly find answers there. If you ask a question and it doesn't know the answer, it's not just going to make up the answer. It's actually going to escalate it, and it'll provide a contact form that you can fill out and then contact us with more information to really help you out. So, yeah, again, the self-service knowledge base as well, support.adventistconnect.org is where that's at. You can watch video tutorials, step-by-step guides to kind of really help you. And there's categories and sections too to getting started and other things like that. Here's our support information. So if you need help at any point, you can email us, visit the knowledge base, or give us a call. One thing before we get into questions and answers, I really want to kind of push is that, again, your website is your digital front door. We've talked about that. It's your digital front door. It's what people are seeing first before they're ever stepping foot. So it really sets the groundwork for what your community sees about you. And so I'm going to give you a challenge this week. And your challenge this week is to log into your website, whether you're on Frame or not, doesn't matter. Log into your website, check your homepage. So check your times and address and contact information, other information that's on your homepage, and just update one thing, whether it's a photo, an announcement, an event, whatever it is, just update one thing on your website. That's my challenge for you this week, to make sure that you have content that is relevant and update on your website, whether you're on the Frame platform or not. And yeah, that's kind of all from me, and I'm happy to, to answer any other questions in the time we have remaining.
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony. We appreciate you. We're going to open it up to anyone who has questions at this time. All right. I see Manel has a question. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Anthony, for this presentation. If you want to add a plugin, where do you go to find that?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Because we're using WordPress and we're using it on a network of nearly 4,000 websites, the structure that we have and the model that we have, we don't, it's a curated version of WordPress. And so there's things that we've added or things that we have maybe restricted a bit more. And that's to ensure that there is safety and security and good performance across the board. Plugins are a real benefit in WordPress, but they can also be to your detriment. Something like, I'm blanking the specific stat, but it was in the 90%, and I want to say it was around 93% of all vulnerabilities for WordPress. So that's where a site gets hacked. You may see that, in the news or something like that, or like in a news feed, something like that. A site gets hacked. 90% of those vulnerabilities for WordPress come through plugins. And so it's easy to just add a plugin, but it may be an outdated plugin or whatnot. So to kind of just ensure that there's safety and security across the board, we've restricted the access to add plugins. That said, if there is a really specific need that someone has, we're always open. We want to hear what that is. We want to improve the system, not just for your church or school, but for everyone as well. So if there's a specific need for a plugin or a feature or something like that that is missing that you would really like, we want to hear about that. And then maybe that is that plugin that you're suggesting, or maybe that's something that we build ourselves that is even better than what that plugin is. So I know that might not be the answer you wanted to hear, but we'd love to hear from you on what specific needs you're wanting to extend.
Yes, one of the specific need would be to be able to use Elementor on the platform.
Yeah.
I think it makes it easy to edit, to update the websites. So if it if we don't have access to it right now, will it be something that we have access to in the future?
Yeah, so great question. And so Elementor is a page builder within WordPress. It's a plugin that allows you to build the page. So there's several different page builder plugins out there. There's one from Avada, Elementor. There's one called Beaver. There's like the Divi. There's a bunch of different ones out there. And part of the reason why they were created was because WordPress was traditionally created as a blogging platform. And it has evolved over the ages, but when it was done that way, it was really challenging to structure content for pages, not posts like a blog, but for pages, and create really dynamic pages. So a lot of those plugins kind of sprung up and were created. WordPress has come a long ways in those years. And so now what is shipped and built with the core of WordPress is what's known as the Gutenberg editor. And the Gutenberg editor is the primary editor, and it's the block editor as well. So our platform uses the Gutenberg editor, and it is a block editor. And the reason why we don't really allow additional editors is because all of those additional editors have their own way of structuring the content and putting the content. And then trying to make the theme work for all of those different unique editors would be very complex. So we've decided to go with just the core Gutenberg editor, and that makes switching from theme to theme really seamless. That also means that if your church or school ever decides, you know what, we want to go somewhere else, you can actually really easily export out the content. With Elementor, we just actually assisted a conference who was having challenges with their website because they had installed so many plugins that they couldn't, and this was on their own WordPress site, not on Frame. They had installed so many plugins that their website was so slow. I'm not exaggerating when I say it took like a minute to navigate around the back end. And so they were using Elementor, and they wanted to come over to Frame. So we were trying to help them, assist them through that process of getting their content out so that we could import it into Frame. The challenge is that Elementor and a lot of those other page builders don't allow the content to be exported. They put it into like kind of the database, and they don't allow really easily extraction of it. There's not a tool that you can just say, export out these pages. And so there's a lot of different reasons why we kind of don't allow an additional page builder. But the Gutenberg editor, there's a lot that you can do, and we're always looking to improve it, add additional blocks, add additional features to it, like scheduling a block to be published and things like that are all coming down the road.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Tayden, go ahead. Go ahead. Tayden, I see your hands up. I'm not sure if he can hear us, but we'll go one last time. Tayden, we see you. Have your hand up. Ready for your question. Okay, we're gonna go to the next person. Anyone else have a question?
Excuse me, did you call Tadessa?
I see your name is Tayden, so that's why I was saying Tayden.
Yeah, it's Tadessa actually.
Okay.
So my question is, in fact, I came in late because I couldn't join. Anyhow,
I don't know if you have two devices that are open at the same time, but for some reason we're getting feedback.
how about now?
Yes, it's better. Thank you.
Okay. So my question is there any written note so that we can refer and do it? Because in my part, I've never been involved in website administration. And it's my first time, except I access my email or work for school or something like that. So, is there any written document that we can refer to?
Yeah, we have written online knowledge base here. I will just put that up.
If you put it in the chat, Anthony, that might be helpful.
Yeah, I will do that. Thank
Yeah.
you. We have a written documentation that also has videos as well. So I'll kind of drop that in the chat, but it's support.adventistconnect.org. If you just go there to support.adventistconnect.org, we have videos and written documentation that would kind of walk you through how to log in, how to add a page, add a photo. All of that information is kind of there to really help you walk through. If you have additional questions, you can also reach out and contact us, and we'd be more than happy to help you through that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. No problem. Pastor Norris, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I have some question, not how to do it, just if it is available to have a small group directory and have all my groups organized in this platform. And also, it's possible to have a photo directory so people can see like a directory of the church members and also with photos. If there is a way to have like a live chat prayer wall so people can put their petitions and people can respond like a chat. And also it's possible to add a Google Calendar in the website so people can see the activities in a Google Calendar mode. And those questions, is that possible to have all those?
Yeah, a couple different questions there. I'll try to remember each one and answer each one of them. But to add a calendar, a Google Calendar, yes, you can do that one of two ways. You could embed the Google Calendar. Google has when you go to your calendar, there's like a share button, and I think there's like an embed code. So you can take that and you can paste that directly into the website and have that displayed. That's one method. So that's going to show how Google displays it. The other method is if you you can get that calendar link specific. There's a specific calendar link you can get. You can actually import it there, so it would automatically all of the events would automatically funnel into the website. So that method there. In terms of the photo directory that you asked for all members, you could do that, but I probably wouldn't suggest doing that. You definitely could do that using the directory, but that's not really what it's meant for.
Okay.
There's other tools. I don't know if your church is on eAdventist. eAdventist has a directory tool that you can add all of the family photos and you can create a directory that way. And I would, if you're on eAdventist, I would refer you to their support to be able to do that. You asked some other questions about
the small group.
Small group and a prayer wall. Small group. I guess what again would you want to do with that?
Like forming groups and have like a map of where the people is in each group. Like
you could definitely you could list those out and list where those small groups are, so you can embed a map and show where they are.
Yeah, okay.
You could have pages specifically for their small groups and things like that. Also, what I just want to highlight kind of what and I don't know your whole vision, but kind of what you're talking about. You may want to check out, got to pull it up right now. What we're going to be releasing, or what we're starting to release, which is Thrive. And Thrive is really key, is what the division is also releasing this year. It's the interest management system. And so that's really built around, kind of what you're talking about,
exactly.
Soul winning, small groups and things like that. So I put the link in the chat. But again, that has maps and has information about those growth and connections and things like that. That's really not meant for a public facing website. It's more kind of your kind of internal
Administration.
management.
Exactly.
So yeah, so I just kind of threw a link for that right there for you.
Thank you.
And the prayer wall as well. I don't have anything specific for you on that. Sounds interesting. There may be other tools out there and that you may be able to just like embed into the website. But we do have forms. So you could have a prayer request form that people could fill out and you could choose who that goes to. So you could have a list of people that could then go out to, but it wouldn't be dynamic. It wouldn't be interactive on a web page.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The domain, can we direct that website to a specific domain, personal domain, or have to be?
Yeah, totally. I didn't talk about this as well, but we provide a domain for every single church and school. So if a church doesn't have their own custom domain, they don't go to like GoDaddy, Namecheap, or somewhere like that and buy their own domain name. We provide a domain name for them. Typically, it is your church name, and then sometimes the city, but I think it's pretty much the church name, and then the state that it's located, .adventistchurch.org. So church name and state .adventistchurch.org. And for schools, it's school name, state .adventistschoolconnect.org is what we have right now. But at any point, if you don't want that and you want your own church, mychurch.org, let's just say, you can buy that, you set up it, you point it to us, and we can help you through that process of pointing it to us. And then we just set that as a primary domain and go from there. And then your church or school website would load at mychurch.org or myschool.org. So yeah, you can totally do that.
Yes. How can I apply for this service? And this is my last question.
Yeah, you would need to decide where you want to buy your domain name from.
No. To this service. To this service. To the
You talking about for frame?
Yes.
You already have it.
I already have it. What is
Yeah,
my
what I mean by that is each church within the North American division has a website.
And if you let me share my screen again. If you're not sure if your site has a website or not, I'll include this link here in the chat as well. Grab my chat here, paste that there. If you come here to AdventistConnect.org, if you just go to the AdventistConnect.org and you hover over here, Frame Website Platform, and you click Site Upgrade, you'll come here and then you select your conference. So we will go to Central States Conference, and then it'll load here, and you can see all of these ones that are grayed out are already on Frame, and they're already upgraded. So they're using the advanced website. All of these other ones that are selectable are not on Frame. And so you could click on one, and then you've selected that one, and then you would want to fill in your information, and then there's another box where you would fill in the pastor's information, and that sends in a request to us, and we just do a verification check that this is a public forum, right? So anyone on the internet could fill this out and say, hey, I represent this church, so give me this website, right? So we do a verification process to ensure that who's contacting us is who they say they are, and that they are authorized for us to set up a website representing their church. Perfect. So we do a verification process. And so if you want to get on Frame, you're not on Frame right now, come here, fill out this form, and we're happy to get you set up and get you started.
All right. Great questions. Thank you. R. Williams.
Yes, that's me. That's Rosalind Williams. My husband is an R, so we just call it R. Williams. No matter who's on the call, we're covered. Okay, so I had probably 2 or 3 quick questions. You just mentioned about the domain, and I'm a novice, so I don't really understand all of this, but we have an email domain that we set up, and so we all have email addresses. So there's a treasury at BethelSDAKC.org. Is that the same kind of domain you're talking about, or is that
Yeah.
a different thing?
No, yeah, that's the same. That's the same one.
So we could have this domain that you've set up for free, because right now we're paying for our domain.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you said Bethel SDA?
It's BethelSDAKC.org.
Okay. Yeah, you could totally set that up so that's your church website.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see nothing's loading for that.
Well, no, that's our email domain, not the
Right.
website. So
Would you
I'm
want that? Are you
assuming,
saying you want that as the website?
um, I don't know yet. We'd have to have a conversation with the media team, but I didn't know whether or not if we can do email addresses off the domain that you have set up.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So if it, I see what you're saying. So if it was, I'm just gonna take a different example just to make it cleaner. Atlanta. So if it was just like Atlanta, you know, .adventistchurch.org. I know that's totally outside of your area, but if it's that, could you do something like treasure at atlanta.adventistchurch.org? The answer to that, unfortunately, is a no. So trying to structure email around our platform supply domains that are AdventistChurch.org and AdventistSchoolConnect.org, that's a little bit complex at the moment, but that is on our roadmap to evaluate and to look at. So we do kind of have a kind of the things we're looking at in the future. So I do know that that's on our roadmap to look at and see what we could do with that. But if it's on our domain, that's not possible. However, you're welcome to buy your own domain and attach it, and you can set up your own email under that.
Okay, that sounds
To be
good.
clear, we're only hosting websites. We're
Oh,
not hosting any email. So
oh,
the email would have to be hosted and managed somewhere else, right? Be it Google, Microsoft, or wherever.
okay. All right, so then the next question is, I managed our calendar, and you mentioned that you can use Google Calendars and import it, but can I just go directly on your website and input our calendar and it be managed there and displayed for people?
Yeah, you totally can. So I'll come over here. So if you come over to events here, and so there's just some events here, and they're just being pulled in. I think some of them. Here's one that was added here, but you can just add an event here, and then you fill out the event name. You know, the date. You know, is this going to be happening more than once? You know, what category you want. You can fill all of that information out, and you could have that displayed.
So
What
it
I
can be
mentioned before
recurring.
is you can pull in other calendars here. So here are external calendars that are added to this demo site. So I added Canadian holidays here. I added Christian holidays and U.S. holidays here. So all of those are going to show up, and they all have categories here for what they show up as. So if I were to go to the main site here, and again, apologies because this is a demo site, so there's different people in this one. Um,
Oh,
but
good.
here's the calendar page here, and what's not showing because this is disabled at the moment. There is a setting that filters. Oh, it is. Let me do this one. I think there's something going on why it's not showing, but there would be a sidebar here that would show me the different categories, and I could quickly see the different categories. But you know, you can see the different things here, so you could go
Okay.
to this church service that's listed here, and have an image and other information and details for that. So yes, you can import that, or you can directly add that. I do want to note too that like one thing that's kind of really cool is if you're pulling in calendars from a lot of different places, be it the the church school or ACS or what have you, your visitors can actually subscribe to the calendar here. So even if you're adding stuff in Google and Google Calendar and an Outlook calendar or where else, or you're adding directly to the website, people can click down here and they can quickly subscribe to this one central calendar from one spot, and have that be in their Apple Calendar or Google Calendar or wherever they manage their own personal calendar. They can subscribe to that there. So
Okay.
yeah.
And then is it set up so that there are administrators? So, just no one can just go in and add a date. Is it possible to
Yeah. So, great questions. And so, you can have a list of users here. There's a lot of users on this kind of demo site here. But you can add a user. You can come in and you can add the user, and you can say that this person is just an events manager. And
great.
so that they can add, edit, and delete any event. And so they couldn't do anything else. They couldn't add a page, edit a page, or anything like that. Their sole responsibility is just to manage events. So you can have that, and you can specify and delegate that access to different individuals.
Okay, awesome. And then the last question I have, and maybe this is for Pastor Barnes, we're a novice group, right? We need a lot of hands-on in order for us to get our webpage up and running. Is there like a one-on-one class that kind of helps us to actually get it up and running?
So, when I first reached out to Anthony, I thought of doing this in person, but I'll be honest, I thought about it and I had some apprehension. And the reason for that is because our conference is just massive, right? We have people online right now from, all the way from St. Louis to Minnesota. And to, find one central location for that to happen, I think would have caused a problem. But here's what I am gonna reach. This was actually gonna be a question I was gonna ask at the end. If you all found this beneficial, would you all be willing to come in person for some kind of training? And I was thinking perhaps around camp meeting, and to see if we could, get as many people as possible to do like a frame lab and possibly bring Anthony in. I can, assist also, and we could do some training then. If you are open to that, and I'm trying to see if at minimum, for at least for Anthony, I don't know what he feels about it, but I'm thinking at minimum 5 people. I would be willing to do that. But I need to hear from you all and see if that's doable.
Well, it's certainly easy for the
I mean,
Kansas City
yeah,
kids.
right there.
I
Yeah.
can't speak for
Yeah.
everybody else,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we
yeah,
could
yeah.
do it easily. We're
Yeah.
10 minutes from the conference office,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But our answer would be a resounding yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I'll just answer this. Yeah, I'm happy to come out if that is something that would be beneficial to a larger group of, pastors and lay members that attend camp meeting. I'm happy to do a workshop for that. Outside of any decision that happens with that, we're always happy to provide support and everything like that. One thing that I didn't mention that we're wanting to do is we're wanting to start having webinars this year, start developing that as well. Part of this transition, is that it moved from one Adventist ministry helping and support this to another Adventist ministry. And some of the support personnel changed in that process as well. They, for whatever reason, they decided to stay where they were, and I mean, that's totally fine. So some of that is we're building stuff too. Not only are we building a new website, we moved everything over, but we're having to kind of build some of these additional things in. And so I know webinars were a thing that were offered in the past, and we're really wanting to offer those again as well. So outside of that, we will be doing that starting soon. But I'm happy to, if you reach out to our support and you're like, hey, can I just schedule a 1 hour one-on-one, Zoom call? We're happy to do that too
Excellent.
as well.
Yeah, thank you. And when you do your webinars too, if there's any way to have them videotaped so
Yeah.
that there's like a library that people can kind of go back and say, hey, I didn't understand how to do this. We can go to that webinar that's posted. So just a thought. But yeah, thank you. Appreciate your willingness to train us today. It was great. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. I see that Toyin said yes, and Kennerly, where are you from? I'm trying to figure that out. But we at least have three.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. I'm actually
Des Moines. Sorry, Philadelphia
All right.
Seventh Day Adventist Church in Des Moines.
All right. So yeah, we see that Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas City. So we're a vast territory. But if you're willing to come, if I get a couple more churches to commit, I will definitely extend an official invitation to Anthony during camp meeting, figure out a date that works, and let's do it. We can make it happen. Okay. I see another question, a hand raise. I don't want to mispronounce the name, so please forgive this, but Muzuwake? Hope I got that right. You're muted.
Hello, this is Pastor Sepoya from Lincoln, Nebraska, Muzukemwake SDA Church. Thank you so much, our presenter. This has been wonderful. Yes, our church is uniquely different because we don't have boundaries. We have members. Right now, we have a member from Saudi Arabia, Namibia, Uganda. They all belong to our congregation, Muzukemwake. So I just wonder if we can we can invite you, we organize here, and then we have a meeting mainly for our people to make sure that we have enough security and everything works well. Secondly, we got our name started with GoDaddy, then we transferred to Chip and Namecheap. I just want to see if it's possible we transfer to you, whether that can be free, because we are paying per this name. So is it possible we can transfer to you, and if we change, how much will that be? So I think those are my questions. And then we need if we can access or present the information present here, so that we can do the homework, we go back and then make sure it's beneficial to our IT team. So we have more than 5 people over here from our church. So go ahead, please.
Yeah. So if I'm understanding correctly, you have a website domain that you purchased from Namecheap or something, right? And
right now, yes, we started with the GoDaddy, and then it was too expensive. We transferred to Namecheap. So that's where we are right now. I just wonder if we transfer to North American Division, how will that be?
So is that the domain name, or is that the whole website as a whole?
The entire website.
Okay.
And the name.
So
yes.
Yeah. So the website as a whole would be no charge. So the website, we would be able to host a website for your church at no charge. If you wanted to keep your original domain name, that's typically around $12 a year, right? But we're not a registrar for domain names, so you still have to keep that registered from GoDaddy or Namecheap. But for the website hosting itself, all of the content, images, there's no storage limit whatsoever. There's no bandwidth limits or anything like that. So all of that is hosted at no charge. So that is possible.
Thank you so much. That's good. Yeah. So, are you planning to give us some notes after here, or where can we get those resources, at least as mentioned earlier by R. Williams, that we need hands-on. So if we go there and then see how do you do this, and then we see those videos, do we have any way we can access them, please?
Yeah, I can give my presentation to Pastor Barnes here
Yeah.
afterwards, and then we'll also include other links as well to support documentation as well.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I'm okay for now. Yes.
And for everyone, this recording, I am going to send it out to you. So
Thank you.
what we'll do is, what we're going to do is we will send out Anthony's presentation after he sends it to me, so that everybody has it. I also just want to let everybody know that another way, Anthony has already said this, but if you go to support.adventistconnect.org, it's going to answer a lot of your questions. It's going to have videos there. My hope is that as we continue to interact with Anthony, whatever we do, we'll record it so that you'll be able to access it in the future. All right. Okay. Any other questions? And this will, if there is another question, it will be our last question because we want to end at 11:30. We were planning for this to go on an hour and a half. So this has been good. We appreciate Anthony coming and being a part of this. And let's get that last question if there is one. Not, we'll close. Okay, well, with no one jumping. Okay, we have last question. Go ahead. I see your.
My question is, sorry, my light is not on, my video is not on, but the question is it possible to have like a database using that? Is that a provision for that? Like doing the PHP to collect the data from the database? Is that possible?
Yeah.
MySQL.
Yeah, really good technical question there. I guess it would depend a little bit more, like what you'd want there, and you're happy to, welcome to email us, and we can have a little bit more of a conversation about your specifics and what you're wanting to do there. But yeah, I'd love to know a little bit more.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we want to thank everyone for coming to our first frame training, and we thank you all so much for just being a part of what we are trying to do. I really would love to see, how do I say this? I'd love to see no websites on our conference that aren't either on frame or aren't, having their own website, established. I saw that list that Anthony pulled up, and my heart just dropped. I was like, oh my goodness, we have a lot of churches that haven't got their new website, and so I've been emailing the pastors, just trying to get to them. I don't have, this is my first time really being able to interact with the lay people to get your information, but we really want to be the A standard, the gold class for the North American division as a conference, with having, a strong digital presence, for our conference and for all of our churches. And so, I really hope that you all can help me in achieving that goal. And just thank you so much for being here today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to administration based upon what I've heard here today, seen in the chat. I think that there's some desire to have that training at camp meeting. I'm going to talk to them, see if it's a possibility, if they'll allow that to happen, and then I'll get back with Anthony, talk to him about his schedule, and then get back to you. In the meantime, I will send out this video as soon as I can get it processed and ready to send back to you, and I'll get Anthony's slides and we'll send that information to you also. Thank you all so much for being a part of this training today. I'm going to ask Pastor Norris if you could actually close us out in prayer. Would you be willing to do that for us, Elder? All right.
You hear me? I'll try.
No. You're good, Elder. Yeah.
Our Heavenly Father, thank you for all this information that gonna help us to have a better tool to reach people, to minister our churches. Thank you for the information that allow us to really represent the kingdom in a professional way. And bless all my brothers and sisters here in the chat. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. All right. Blessings to you all. Have a great day. Anthony, thank you again so much.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Blessings.
Bless you.
Blessing.